Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. We are on episode 104.
104, I can't believe we're on 104.
Absolutely. And today we are talking about Father's Day with Father's Day 2, the next generation.
Nice.
Anyway, stick around if you want to hear more. Hello, I'm your host, Conor, and I'm the son of Father and Sundays. And this is my co-host.
Co-host, so is that equal billing?
Well, you have co-hosts, don't you?
Yeah.
So you're my
Hi, I'm
other host.
I'm David, and I'm the host of this podcast.
Co-host.
Because you said you were the host, so I'm the host as well. I am
You're the hostess.
with the mostess. My name's David. I am the father of this outfit.
What outfit? The Unknown Pleasures.
I'm wearing my Joy Division t-shirt and a pair of tailored shorts and some slippers, which is not what I normally wear for a very good reason. Huh?
You wearing underwear?
Yes, I normally wear underwear, yes.
Okay. I'm wearing a
Orlando
Hard Rock Hotel t-shirt.
Yeah.
Some tailored shorts. I've got a belt, some underwear, but no slippers.
Wow.
So we look similar, except you're the one with slippers, which I think shows your age.
Could do. It could do. I'm asked to cover up my feet anyway because of running a lot. They don't look at their best. They're like something out of The Walking Dead, and I've never watched that, but I know what it's about.
What is it
Zombies.
About? Oh, right.
Right. Yes. How have you been this week?
I've been fine, thank you for asking.
Right. You seem to be unsure about that.
I was trying to remember what happened this week, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah? Have I been fine? Have I seemed fine?
You seemed like
it's been a busy week at work.
It's busy week at work.
Busy week at work.
Is it nice and cool in your office?
Very tired. I work in a porter cabin, so it gets normally very hot, but it's been all right, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been very hot in my office. You have to be careful saying that.
Oh, do you want to say orifice, though?
It's been very, very hot this week, hasn't it? And, well, it has been hot for a little while now. And then last weekend, I think we talked about we were going to do that, but last weekend I did the half marathon in the town that we live in, the city we live in.
Southend half marathon.
Which was very hot.
13.1. What's going on with your voice?
I'm just mixing it up a little bit.
All right. It's making me a bit uncomfortable.
Is it? Great. I'll do it even more than
13.1 miles. That's,
but you did come down, your mother and your sister came down to support me, which was nice. I'm not sure your mum was coming down to support me. I think she was coming down to support someone else, but I just happened to be down there running. She saw
Hillary as well.
She did, yeah. So, yes, but you didn't go down to the seafront to watch me under normal transport.
No. So, thank you very much for leading me on here, Dad. So, we normally travel down the seafront via car.
Yep.
Even though we don't live that far.
No, we don't walk it.
To be fair, it's the other end of the beach.
It is, and it's quite difficult to move about.
I'm not done speaking.
Sorry, okay.
But sometimes we might walk, but we didn't do in this instance. We decided to take our two-wheeled bicycles.
Two-wheeled bicycles, as opposed to what ones, like the trikes and the unicycles and the penny farthings we got on the sheds.
They're all cycles, but they're not bicycles.
Okay. But what was that? How was that for you? You haven't ridden a bike for a long while?
It was a bike with stabilisers, a quad bike.
I think I would. If I had stabilisers on my bike, I'd call it a quad bike, so I looked a bit more hard. Anyway, so how did that go for you? Because it was very nice. I kept forgetting that you had them, and then I'd be running along, and then suddenly you'd be appearing alongside me, you and your sister, not your mum, but you and your sister. But what I didn't realise was that Becky had propped the phone up, videoing me in the basket at the front of her bike.
Yeah, she got very angry at Mum at one point because she moved the phone to get something out the bag. She was like, "Mum, I'm filming!"
Did you really?
Yeah, that happened.
But it was nice. It was nice seeing you. And it was quite funny when you were Dad, we're going to cycle alongside you. And you were in the cycle lane going up and down. Although you did stop at one point and cause a bit of carnage in there. Because there's quite heavy traffic.
I didn't know there was
didn't
people behind us.
No, that's true.
So, yes, you asked how the bike ride was.
Yes.
And you didn't give me opportunity to answer. So I'm going to answer that now.
Okay.
Very sore bum.
Yeah?
Got a sore bum from it.
Numb testicles? Because I always get a problem with numb testicles if I've ridden a bike.
No, I think you need to get that checked.
Oh, right, okay.
My hands were hurting. So the
Okay.
handlebars were quite low down, so I was having to put a lot of pressure on them. And also, my bike is very rusty, so only one of the brakes was working. Luckily,
Okay.
it was the rear brake.
I'm surprised you went out on it because you are Mr. Health and Safety. So I'm surprised.
Fireworks. Bikes aren't explosive.
You always used to say about having a proper check on your bike before
I
you went out.
I did. I checked it, and the brakes weren't working.
Brakes weren't working. The handlebars were
To be
too
fair,
low.
No, the brake was working, but not enough to stop a man on it.
Oh, that was just as well then, wouldn't it? So, but that needs before you go out and again, you're going to get that sorted, then, are you?
Maybe.
No, just buy another bike.
You just get your bike.
No, but that was quite nice. I thought it was quite good. We keep saying about trying to get out on them, and your mum only started. I bought her a bike a couple of years ago, and she went out on it a couple of times. She hasn't really been out on it since.
Every now and then she goes through a phase, but we all do that, don't we? We go through a phase of let's go on the bikes.
Yeah.
We don't consider them as a mode of transport places because, in reality, they are an awkward mode of transport to places because, like, there's car parking space everywhere. You can lock your bike up, but there's always a real fear that it's going to be nicked.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. No, I must admit, whenever I've used mine and gone into town, and that there was a spate of it when I was going into town to do bits and pieces, I always thought, I'm going to come back and it's just going to be one wheel.
And even then, when we're walking on the pavement, we moan about bikes on the pavement. When we're riding
That's
along
true,
the road, we moan about bikes on the road. And then when we do it, we're just as bad.
Did you cycle down on the roads then?
I tried to at points. Mum and Becky didn't want to.
No.
And Becky was just saying, if we get stopped, we'll just say we haven't done our cycling proficiency.
Right. Yeah,
it sounds like
which
Becky,
is true. Right, you probably... Did you do yours?
I did mine. Becky did hers.
Oh, right, so it was a lie.
Just
How
Mum.
can, under pressure, if the police had taken you in
Yeah.
for questioning, you'd have both broke.
But
There's no way you wouldn't have owned up to doing your cycle proficiency. And you know what? That'd have been it then.
in fairness, though, a lot of the route down to the seafront, where we went anyway, is either cycle paths or shared space.
Is it really?
Yeah. So, like going down the... this isn't going to be much of an interest to anyone outside of Southend.
This is just us having a conversation now. Sorry about this.
Like the road down by the Enterprise rental place.
That's got a cycle lane. Then.
There's not got a cycle lane, but it's a shared path because you can't ride a bike in the road, can you?
Oh, fair enough. On the path it says shared. Yeah. Oh,
I'm going to have a little cough now.
Good. Right, well, I mean, it was a very, very hot day, and probably the last thing you want to do is run 13.1.
It was rather warm, wasn't it?
It was rather warm. Because
I went to the cinema later that day,
You did.
and I had to come home and change my
'Cause you what?
underwear and my t-shirt.
Yes, well, that's very
I
nice.
got the sore bum.
Yes. The people that running it was absolutely brutal, and some people had got hose pipes out, so there was the water stations and that, but it was just getting ridiculously hot.
That's all right. That's before any hose pipe bans anywhere.
It was, and the hose
And to be
pipes
fair,
were
we're
out.
not gonna
Although
get them
my friend
locally.
Derek, who had a hose pipe down there, had his on a little bit too strongly, because it was like being sort of, if you were doing a demonstration and someone wanted to break it up, because I went, oh, like that, and he went, oh, do you want spray? Yeah, all right. Bang! So he took my head off.
So at least the so you did it a bit like a pressure wash. You've now got that layer of dirt off.
Oh, I have, yeah. I'm about 3 stone lighter. But something weird, I did tell you about this, but something weird.
I think we probably should have said earlier on, by the way, we got a bit to chat about before we get into the content.
Oh, no,
of the
that's
podcast.
right. It'll fall in. But I was right near the end of this race, and I was feeling quite very hot, very tired, really sort of wishing it to end. And the race, that is, it wasn't that bad.
Wow.
But
It's got deep.
and then I
expect
run
that.
round and there's a little track that goes in front of these flats. And as I run down there, I can hear your voice, Connor. And then I can hear my voice. And I'm thinking, it's happened again. I've heard people listening to our podcast while I'm running along.
Just bumped into them.
Because I'm thinking it might be someone up on the one of these balconies, because there's people who's such a nice...
Were you speaking to anyone? Did you find out who it was?
Well, Connor, I shouted. I started shouting.
You shouted?
Who's listening to that? Who's listening to that? I remember saying it a lot of times as I was running down, because it kind of took my mind off what was going on. And I was so blown away. When it happened once before, I was really blown away by it. And I'm going, who's listening to that? Who's listening to that? Oh, and I'm thinking, I can still hear it. It's the Eurovision one. I like that one. I really enjoyed that episode. And I thought,
even
excellent.
as you're running, as you're moving further away from certain points, there must have been a runner around you.
There
surely.
must have been people listening to it in all the flats all the way along there. And then I got to the end and I suddenly thought, no. What's happened is the last thing I listened to, because I go through and just check these when they're released. Last thing I was listening to was this.
We do our checks after it's released.
Yeah, not that I can do anything about it, but just say, oh, that was rough.
To be fair, we can. But
and it was in my pocket, and I think it was so hot that it started. It not because I'd pressed play, but it started playing, but really loudly. I was so embarrassed, but it then stopped immediately. So I was a bit confused about it. When afterwards I thought, no, it was absolutely that. So I felt a bit.
Well, yeah,
idiot.
because it must have sounded like you're doing a really bad promo. Who's listening to that?
Who's listening to that? You could listen to that.
You could listen to that if you check out fatherandsundays.com.
If you run behind me as I'm running along shouting, do you want to? Who's listening? Who's listening to my phone in my pocket?
So that must have been a sweaty leg story or sweaty bum story with the phone going off.
It was a sweaty leg. It was inside.
I've got a sweaty leg story.
Have you? Tell me your sweaty leg story on this Father's Day.
So on the same day, we were riding our bikes. We went back to Hillary's afterwards to top up our water bottles. When we got to Hillary's, I noticed my phone was ringing. I answered the phone, and answered the phone and said, I went, hello, and they went, hello, this is Essex Police. I was like, right.
They'd heard you'd been cycling on the pavements.
Yeah.
And you lied about having...
It says Essex Police. I went, hello, and he went, we've just had a call from this phone. Just going to check out if everything's okay. It did sound like it might have been a pocket dial, and I was like, oh no. I went, I'm so sorry. He said it must have been a pocket dial. I've been running my bike, and it's just, yeah. I felt so embarrassed. But he was like, no worries. I went, honestly, I'm so sorry. He went, no, don't worry about it. But it's one of these things that it's going to happen, especially probably this time of year. They're probably getting more pocket dials because of the warm weather.
I bet you were absolutely gobsmacked.
I've never phoned an emergency services before, and now I have.
Congratulations.
Because sometimes if you cough down the line, they come and find out where you are. Because they do one of two things, don't they? They either call you back, and if they can't call you back, they'll send someone out. So thank God I answered that phone call.
Oh no! Say you'd have started talking to Becky about the dodging of and trying to lie about your cycle proficiency.
Yeah.
And it'd all be on...
I wasn't going to lie about it, by the way, but it was Becky who was going to lie about it.
Oh,
I was running in the roads.
I will check with her. Yeah, I will check that story, the collaboration. Because they'll take you... I've seen border control and things like that. They separate people and take them into different rooms to interview them. So I can see you folding like a deck chair.
I'd dub her in.
Would you? Dub her in or dob her in?
Dub her.
Dub her in. Dub her voiceovers.
like a rubber dubber.
Rubber dubber. Well, no. Yes, I remember you saying about that. I've forgotten that had happened. But that must have freaked you out. Would freak me out. I'm still scared of the police.
I'm okay. Why are you scared of the police?
I'm always scared of the police.
Why are you scared of the police?
I just get really unnerved by
Sting
them.
and the police?
No. I couldn't care less about them. I like them as a band, but I'm not frightened of them. But
unless they come near you with field of barley and
field of barley. That wasn't.
Everyone seems to think that
Sting.
song's called that's Sting, yeah. But everyone seems to think, but yeah, they're kind of the same thing, aren't they?
No.
Everyone seems to think that that Fields of Gold is called Fields of Barley, but who would name it?
That's really stupid. That's just like taking any lyric out of any song and just saying it's called that.
Yeah, well, that's generally what they do, to be fair.
Well, not necessarily, but
YMCA.
Yeah, but that's you're picking a song that's called it, and it's most of the
Flowers.
song is
Airplane.
yeah. Anyway, right. So what else have we
To be
been
fair,
doing?
hang on, I thought one.
Yeah.
Pompeii by Bastille. Doesn't say Pompeii in the lyrics.
Well, there you go. It happens
Wow.
quite a lot.
Oblivion by Bastille. It says it a lot.
Right. Okay. I'll bear that in mind.
Not Pompeii. It says Oblivion a lot.
All right. Good. Other things we did just quickly. The wedding photos started coming back, didn't they? And we had a little look at some wedding photos, which was quite emotional.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. A
'Cause
taster of them.
I'm still not getting really good ones of me. How am I ever going to make a fantastic dating profile if I've not got good pictures of me from the wedding?
Yeah,
How
but there
am I
is
ever to
pictures of
attract
you.
a woman, a female?
God, I'll tell you what. If you talk like that won't happen because you sound too sinister
One
and
man.
creepy. Woman, woman.
When I see her, girls. We spoke about this in the stag
Yeah.
one. I'm very socially awkward, so it's fine.
Yeah, but you're not as bad as you
Don't
think.
worry. We don't need to get into a.
Well, you brought it
We
up.
don't need to get into a therapy session.
Right, okay. Okay, so this is going to go out on Father's Day. Now we've covered all those other bits
Sorry,
and pieces.
you're saying it's Father's Day today.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
Here's your
Didn't think you were
present.
going to say anything. What is that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, I've already got one of them. As this goes out, I know this is slightly different, but I'll be in a tent in a field doing the Harp 24 run again, like we did a couple of years back or a year or so back. In a thunderstorm, by the
Will you be listening to this at 5 a.m. in the morning when it's released?
possibly, because I think I've got to run at about 5 o'clock, so it might be an ideal time. I'll put my headphones.
Will you run with
buds.
headphones in?
I don't normally, but I might do that to just listen to that. And I might not. I might just come back and put what?
I just did a little burp.
Oh, good. Okay, thanks. Anyway, but as this is released, all these fathers will be waking up on their celebratory day.
Celebratory. Celebratory.
Yeah. I wonder what will be in store for them.
Every day, in every way, the things people do, the things people say, just irritate me, please sedate me. These are the things that really get my goat.
People, and if I'm honest, mainly women, who refer to football shirts as football t-shirts, i.e., oh, that's your new football t-shirt, isn't it? No, it's not.
Dad.
Yes.
You were saying something before you rudely interrupted yourself with
myself.
what's got my goat.
Yeah. No,
You seem
I was-
upset by the elongated dad, but that's how we say it as
Is it?
your children.
Right, okay. So it's Father's Day in the UK. It's not Father's Day everywhere in the world. I thought actually Father's Day was pretty universal, and it's not.
Father's Day is the more universal one out of the two.
But there's
though, isn't
still
it?
an awful lot of
US celebrate at the
countries.
same time, didn't they?
I'm not sure they do. I think
Did you do your research?
I certainly know other countries don't celebrate at the same time as we do. But I thought actually, and I think it was you told me this, that pretty much everywhere celebrates Father's Day.
So what you're doing is blaming me.
Yeah, whereas Mother's Day is definitely on different days depending on what country.
In fact, Mother's Day for the UK is the one that's the weird one. Most
So,
other countries celebrate at the same
I
time.
guess we'll start with, if you're a father,
I'm not.
but if you are out there, the people listen to this, if you're a father, I hope you have a lovely day, irrespective of whether it's being celebrated today in your country. We did a
You're not
Father's...
going to one up that. I hope all the other days of the year are also great for you.
Well, kind of said that anyway, didn't I? So,
No, you said this one day.
2 years ago, we did a Father's Day episode, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And we had Becky in it in the end, and we had... It was. I tell you, it was really hot as well, because I think I was sitting with no shirt on at the time,
Yeah.
which was helpful because you gave me a present in that Father's Day one of a England shirt, which I put on because I didn't have a shirt on already. But you've already held out your hand with
The
nothing.
thing
in it.
is you're really greedy
Why am I really greedy?
because you have your birthday very close to Father's
That's
Day.
not my fault, is it? You can blame my mum and dad for that, not me.
Well, you're the one that decided to come out at that point in time.
No, I'm sorry, not my fault. Yeah, so I'm being
They're about
greedy.
a week apart.
Yes, they are about a week apart. You're absolutely right. But we'll cover that when it gets to my birthday, my birthday celebration podcast. But Father's Day,
Your birthday's not on a Sunday this year. It's on a Tuesday.
it's on a Tuesday. Yeah, I know. But again, at
So
Father's
no
Day as well,
celebratory podcast.
I thought I was gonna look back on it and just check what we did for Father's Day last time, and we had a break halfway through it where I went off and got my second jab for COVID. So it was bizarre listening to it because it's like a absolutely. I know COVID's still around, but it's like a different time
Would
again.
you like to? Should we just like go for old time's sake? I'll just stab you with something.
I'll take my shirt off and then halfway through just stab me.
Yeah.
Oh, as long as I get a sticker. No. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
So what has changed since the last Father's Day podcast? So that's 2 years we've had. Oh
Well, you
no,
just
I've
throw
just
something
knocked
on the
my
floor.
quiz down on the
To
floor.
be fair,
Don't look.
you've knocked the matches on the floor as well.
Oh no, it's going to set on fire.
Yeah, do your quiz.
Yeah. We've had two weddings.
Spoilers, there's a quiz at the end.
There was a quiz at the end. There's 2 weddings happened.
Yeah.
And
Are you
a
talking
gra-
about since the last podcast?
Yeah, since the last Father's Day podcast.
Well, we kind of did. We spoke about Father's Day on one previously, didn't we?
No, well, we would have put one out near Father's Day, but it
You've
wasn't
not
a
checked,
Father's
have you?
Day. Well, no, I know it wasn't called Father's Day, and I know it wasn't referring to Father's Day. It was something completely different. We might have mentioned it's Father's Day, but we didn't do anything on it, which is a bit upsetting. Anyway.
On a podcast called Father and Sundays.
Yeah, exactly. About that relationship that's clearly breaking down. So we've had 2 weddings.
Yeah, we did so well that first year. A shirt.
Yeah, you
Not a
peaked
football
too early.
t-shirt, a
Not
shirt.
a football t-shirt. Not a football Oh, that winds me up so much, doesn't it, you?
To get your goat.
It happened. It got my go. It happened the other day, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because we were still basking in this West End wonderland we're in at the moment, and you'd got a commemorative I said it. Then.
You did.
A commemorative football shirt and
A celebratory
football shirt, and both comments were, "Oh, that's a nice t-shirt." Anyway,
Is that your new football t-shirt?
is that your new football t-shirt? We've had 2 weddings still. That's not
Sam would have
6. I've said it
slapped
about and a grandson.
I've not had a grandson.
I've had a grandson, so I'm not only am I a father now, but I am a grandfather as well.
Not only am I a son, I'm still a grandson. To be fair, it's always happened.
You are a grandson.
I'm
yeah.
an uncle father.
You're an uncle father, are you? I didn't think there was such one, but there you go. So, what does it mean to be a dad?
To have a offspring, either adopted or it doesn't always have to be adopted, but
On the whole,
or
it's not
birthed.
normally adopted. There are many adopted children, which is fantastic.
and they can still have fathers, but sometimes they can be a father figure.
That is true, and I think you've mentioned this once before because there's
There's a
different
lot
ways
of
look-
absent. There's probably more absent dads than there are mums.
Yeah, and to be quite honest with you, then you might have a uncle, or you might have a brother,
Why
or
is
you
it-
might have just a male figure in your life that's important to you, who you like to celebrate on a certain day.
Why do they always do this test to check? Are you the father? He is the dad, but they never do any of. You are the mum.
You think they should test the mum to make sure that
That she's
she wasn't
actually-
faking it?
She wasn't faking the birth. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no.
wasn't something
Well,
else she just put
in
up
this
there.
day and age, it should happen. Yeah, I'm absolutely 100% behind you on that one. But I would say about being a dad is a constant worry being a dad, because
I constantly worry about you too. Different reasons.
yeah, but I'd said to you I think I said to you earlier about it, like how have I changed as a dad, like for better or worse, since you were a kid? I know you don't remember much of your early life, because
I was born on a Saturday.
You were born on a
I
Saturday.
don't know why I said that in that way. A Saturday. I
You
was born on
were.
a
Do
Saturday.
you remember that? I do.
A bit after 1.
Yep.
Southend Hospital.
Southend Hospital.
Mum's hair was dark and short in a bob.
Yep.
Your hair was short, but almost instantly started falling out.
Yeah, I think there is a direct tie between me aging and
You're Asian.
Yeah, me becoming Asian and you being born.
Yeah,
So
I've noticed that.
Yeah. Right, but yes,
You have started eating more. Do you eat more Chinese food nowadays?
So, well, absolutely. I eat a lot of rice now. Yes, no, but I mean, have I changed? Have I? I guess your role as a father changes over that period of time, because when you're small, obviously completely dependent on your parents, but then your relationship with your children changes.
Yes, I would say that you've gone from. But to be fair, I think we've always had quite a close relationship where it always used to be. Yes, you would care for me, you'd look out for me, you'd tell me off when things weren't going quite right. But as time has progressed, and you've always been like a mate, you've always been a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. As time's progressed, it's become even more of a friend not as opposed to a dad, but on top of a dad.
All right.
Like, as opposed to being to that full-on need to care all the time,
Yeah.
you're now more of a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say I would choose you as a friend. I mean,
That's
the
very
age gap
nice.
probably means that
I'd be a creepy friend that you kind of.
well,
why are you mixing with him?
we could meet at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
But
we
not-
worked together, but we do have different jobs, so that'd be a bit hard, wouldn't it?
Well, it wouldn't be if I delivered post to where you were.
But you don't.
No, I don't. But I'm
So-
just saying.
But
it's
but
not
I don't normally speak to the postman at work.
No, well, perhaps you should.
I speak to the person in the mail room.
So are you saying you wouldn't mix with me
Mail
socially?
room, by the way, women allowed in there as well.
Yeah, well, and yeah, I
You'd
know.
think where it's called the mail room.
Oh, it's just gone haywire, all this now. I think,
Anyway, yeah. So, but you'd be like the older friend from work, I imagine.
older friend from work.
Yeah, but you are 30 years older than me.
I am 30 years older than you, yes.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
maybe we'd be friends.
So you don't think I've become a worse dad? I've just become a different dad. Is that
you
what
become
you're
a
trying
different
to
dad. I do think sometimes
say? Yeah.
you care, and you've always cared, but you've probably always cared an equal amount. You should be caring less now.
That sounds a bit odd to me. What? Just because you're all adults?
Because you said you're filled with worry.
Yes, I am.
You worry too much.
I do worry. Well, yeah, I do worry too much, but it's a, yeah.
Like, for example, you should worry to an extent, but I go out very rarely.
Yeah.
But when I do go out,
Yeah.
you almost seem to stay up and worry. Or
Well,
at least you
no.
claim you do, to be fair, because sometimes you do fall asleep.
Well, no, I'll tell you what happens there, and this will resonate with other people as well. And bear in mind, you're the only one who lives at home now.
And that's
right?
what I think the problem is.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I've got a little bit less freedom.
Really? Oh, this
Yeah.
is a turn up in this podcast. There's some things coming out there. I guess what it is.
Mum doesn't care.
No, Mum does care, but she does it in a different
cares
way.
in a different way.
So basically, I've been like this with the three of you, but obviously, your sisters are now got their own places, and I don't know when they get in or whatever. And I ain't got
Becky, like
all hours.
8:30,
Half
late
eight.
is 9.
Yeah, that's asleep.
And that's
not in.
Yeah. And that's if she's gone out for a night out.
Yeah.
If she's just got in, then like the latest 6.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you know someone's gone out and they're coming back to the house, what happens is I will go to sleep, but then I'll wake up in the morning, or wake up in the early hours, which I wake up quite a lot, and I'll think, oh, I wonder what time it is, and I look at the time and I think, I wonder if he's home. And then that's the issue
Yeah.
then, because if you were living in your own place, or you were at uni or whatever, this is what sort of, obviously Annie was at uni, and at that point she was rolling in at whatever time or doing whatever I had no idea, so I couldn't worry about it because I didn't know about it.
But you stopped walking in to check if I was there, didn't you?
I did on that fateful occasion. Funny enough, you had quite a lot of drink that night. And one of your mates had started contacting me and telling me that you were going to sleep at theirs, and but you're okay. You just had a lot of drink. You're going to sleep at theirs. And I went, oh, okay, no problem. And then I was doing bits and pieces around the house, and then I thought, I'm just going to go in. I don't know why I went into your room. I went into your room to do something. I'll probably empty a bin or do something. And you were in there. And you'd been in there all along. You'd obviously come back in the early hours, irrespective of what your mates was telling me. Got in there, and I was none the wiser.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I was wearing clothes either.
No, you wasn't, Connor. But I didn't really want to go into that. See, I'm still having therapy for that one. Yeah, so it is. I get that. I get that I am a worrier. But it's sort of a constant sort of... It's a bit of a roller coaster of emotions, really, with having kids. But what it's lovely about it is I'm incredibly proud of all three of you. And I was talking to someone about... Who
the most?
I'm not doing that. I was telling someone about...
Because I know you'd win.
Well, then keep that in your mind so you're happy. So I was telling someone about all of you and how proud I am of all of you, and how you've turned out as well, which I think tells you an awful lot about what a wonderful dad I must be. Recent events as well is quite... When I've obviously in the last couple of years I've walked both your sisters down the aisle.
Me too.
You walked one of them down the aisle as well, didn't you? But that was really, really emotional. That's quite something, really. And you know, in a way, when your daughters get married, you kind of... It almost feels like you're passing over a responsibility. I mean, bear in mind, obviously Becky and Sam, they've been together 10 years. They lived together. But when they got married, it was almost 10 years. When they got married, it was almost like... they do it in the ceremony, don't they, when they say who's giving...
Yeah.
This. And it almost felt like that. It almost felt like I was handing over responsibilities that I wasn't, you know...
And you know what's funny? Next weekend, she was back round here again.
It was exactly the same as normal.
It's the same as normal, except now our surname's changed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that's different.
That's all that's different anyway.
Oh, and she's got another ring on.
Yeah.
So Sam.
Yes.
Still need to see Sam's ring.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a bit worried about you two anyway in your relationship. I think it was a good job she got married.
He got his ring looks quite interesting by the sounds of it because it's got a I think it's
please hurry up and finish this.
It's got like another thing inside it.
Oh, that's not getting any better.
What is it?
What's inside it then? Some
It's got
inscription?
layers. Got layers.
Layers.
Yeah.
Right.
Like an ogre. He's got a Shrek on it.
It's got a Shrek on it, has it?
Yeah.
Well, look.
He'd
Anyway,
hate that.
he would hate that actually because his wife. I can't believe I just said his wife is obsessed with talking through Shrek.
Mrs. Sam.
Mrs. Sam. Yeah, she's known now. Being a granddad now. Wifey. Being a granddad now is slightly different. It's not really a similar sort of thing. We get to see my grandson
not my grandson.
quite regularly still, but I'm looking forward to when he's
A bit older.
Well, I am looking. I love him to bits. I absolutely love him to bits. But I'm looking forward to when he is talking as well, because I can't wait to be able to sit and read him stories or make up stories like I used to with you guys, and just sort of engage with him like that.
I bet you're also
wonderful.
Looking forward to like the idea of like having him stay for, well, bearing in mind where they live, having him stay for like a week or something. Like during the summer holidays, you might get him, although that's probably less likely based on what Annie's work's going to be, but like potentially you might have him for like a week or a few days.
Yeah, like we used to do with you guys. You know, you used to spend a lot of time with your nans and
our adopted
nan,
nan,
Auntie Joan. So, yeah, no, it will be nice taking him down a park, although I'm going to have to check out whether he's inherited his mum's ability to go down a slide, because Annie promised me she could go down a slide and then went up the top and got stuck, and I had to get all the way up there past all these other kids that obviously were waiting to go to try and get her to come down. Hopefully David won't have that.
No.
And he'll be whizzing it down it and we'll have a great
I'm
fun.
looking forward to building a den with David in the woods.
Oh, that'd be good. You like a den, didn't you?
Yes.
You like
Do you want to come?
I'll come if
Yeah.
I'm allowed.
Yeah.
I'll
No girls allowed, though.
No girls allowed. You'll probably not let me in when I go. That's
Sam
the sort
can
of
come
person
as well,
you
and
are.
Chris if he wants.
Yeah, why not?
Well, all the boys will build a den.
Yeah.
No
So is that
girls allowed.
if you have children,
Gonna build dens.
that's the thing, is it for
Yeah,
you?
that's it. We're gonna live in the woods.
You're going to live in the woods.
Actually, that saves us a lot of money. It's probably quite a good idea.
Well, it's not a good idea, is it?
Well, I can't. It's difficult to afford a house. So.
It is, but I don't know that bringing up children in the woods is a good idea.
I'll just let the wolves do it.
The wolves, we've got a lot
Yeah,
of
the
them around
wolves
here.
of
haven't we?
Belfair's Woods.
The wolves, the famous wolves of Belfair's Woods, yeah?
Yeah.
All right,
And the
okay.
badgers.
Yeah. I think you'll make a really good dad.
Thanks.
Well, I do. I think you do. I think
I
you
didn't say you wouldn't, did
Yeah,
I?
but I just thought, you might say something back to me.
Have
but-
offspring?
Yeah, no, I think if you have children, you will make an excellent dad.
Right.
I think you've got all the qualities that a dad needs.
Like a beard?
Yeah, a big bushy beard.
You did have a beard.
No, and you'll be a better dad than I am for it.
You got a beard now.
I have got a beard now. Yeah.
Yeah. No
Okay.
eyebrows though.
No.
Last week we had 3 different songs by 3 different artists.
We did, and I
for
didn't.
Eurovision.
I wasn't able to
You weren't
play
able to
any
play
of my
songs.
songs. Yeah.
But that's probably done as songs for a few weeks, isn't it?
No, of course it hasn't. No, I thought I'd write a song, and I thought, what can I write a song about as it's Father's Day? And I thought, it's a difficult journey in the early years of a
Happy
child.
Father's Day to you.
Thank you very much.
Is that the song?
If you have a child who's an inquisitive child, they may ask you many, many questions, right? And you can't always answer those questions, and you have to think of unique ways of batting them off, or changing the subject, or whatever you need to do to get through that situation. And I thought I'd write
Is
a
this
story.
aimed at me?
You can. I'm just talking generally, but if you want to look at it from your perspective, then so.
Do
be
you
it.
know what I do?
What?
Because Becky does this to me. She asks me inquisitive questions, and I have to answer them
Yeah.
for her. I just tell her something I've just made up.
Do you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, I've done that in the past as well. But it's just about that difficult journey through white lies and the truth.
Yeah, the way you keep speaking sounds like you want me to play it. Like you almost sound like you're trying to finish something.
Well, you did ask me whether I've written a song, and I said yes, I have.
But it just makes me laugh because you're going da 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 da, and it's like you want me to stop it there, but then I keep saying more.
Okay.
Yeah, see, you've done it again.
Oh, no, just play it then.
You ask me where the babies come from. I answered they're on sale at the local budgeons. You ask me if I believe in God. I change the subject, it's something I do a lot. Why'd you call it a winkle when its real name's a penis? Why do we lay on the floor so the Jehovah's can see us? These are just some of the questions you've asked. You want to know it all, and all I can do is pass. If it's not one thing, it's always another. Wish we'd had more kids so you had an older brother. I don't know the answers, you best go and ask your mother. You ask me, are we nearly there? I say it's round the corner, cause the truth I don't want to share. You hear the ice cream man parking down the road. I say there's no point, as the ice cream's all been sold. Is there a monster lurking under your bed? Where do people go to after they're dead? Why has that woman got a tash and a beard? Why when I ask you, do you go all weird? Santa Claus, Jesus Christ, and don't forget the old tooth fairy. Why's mine bald, but yours is quite hairy? If it's not one thing, it's always another. Wish we'd had more kids so you had an older brother. I don't know the answers, you best go and ask your mother. You ask me where the babies come from, I answered they're on sale at the local budgeons. You ask me if I believe in God, I change the subject, it's something I do a lot.
Game time.
I really like that song.
Do you?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I felt it felt quite summery, which is quite good.
It's a bit light, isn't it?
quite
A bit
summery,
light and
quite
breezy.
Yeah. I do have a question though.
Yeah.
Interestingly, because it's about questions. So, asked where babies come from, and you
Yeah.
told me budgeons.
Yeah.
Now, I actually seem to remember that I asked where I came from, and you told me it was toilet roll tubes and sellotape.
I think I told you at one point that we made you
Yeah,
out of bits and bobs.
yeah.
But
You did.
funny enough, my granddad used to say I was on sale in Woolworths. That's where they got me from. So I
Rip
guess that's
Woolworths.
probably what. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
It
But
does, but I think it's in Australia, isn't it?
is it?
Woolies. Don't they
Woolies still over there. Yeah. So I think the whole point of that was it's when children, especially, you were very, very inquisitive.
Well, yes. I did also. So the bits and bobs thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you told me that. But I also always had a vision that, you know, like when we used to go to pet shops.
Yeah.
And there used to be the one in Basildon.
Right.
That's where we got Elephant.
Okay.
Elephant the
yeah.
hamster, by the way, not an actual elephant.
No. No.
And all those hamster cages and stuff like that. You'd
Yeah.
have like the hamsters, and it'd be like almost like if you go to a fish shop as well, you got the
Yeah,
tanks.
yeah.
But I always thought there'd be like babies,
God, that's quite
tanks.
scary, isn't it?
and you go pick one up.
Yeah.
Not like floating around, but like in like
Like-
sawdust
like
and
a-
stuff.
Navi. No, in Sawdust and that, yeah.
Oh,
Avatars.
Yeah,
in the
Navi.
things, yeah, Navi, I said.
Navi.
Oh, Navi.
Navi.
Just because my
Potato.
pronunciations. No, well, I do actually. Now you said
Celebratory.
that- Yeah, oh, shut your face.
But yeah, sorry.
No, but yeah, I
interrupted.
did. You did used to ask a lot of questions. You used to ask a lot of personal questions. Used to ask about religion. You used to ask about everything. But that was fine. I mean, I used to do it
I
as
used
a
to have
kid.
catchphrase, didn't I?
Dad? Oh, well, you used to say, Dad, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was to do with this sort of thing. I've got an idea. I was thinking but quite often it was about building something. Like you wanted me to build another son, so you someone to play with.
Was that legitimately one, or
Huh?
was that legitimately one, or
No, I can't remember that. I just made that up then. But no, you used to.
I used
ask,
to build stuff out of cardboard as well, didn't I?
Well, you used to say to me, like, if we could get some wood, I could make a table. And you think, and there is part, and being a parent, there is part of you that your heart sinks when, and I get really sort of, even now, I have a real struggle between, this is going to be a right nightmare to do, and I really should do this, because why wouldn't you? Why say no when you've got the time to do something?
Do you remember when you made me the Thunderbirds stuff?
Oh yeah.
You made me a Thunderbird sash and a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can,
like that.
I
That's
can
in my
remember.
memory. That's stored in
It's
my
stored
childhood
in memory.
memories.
I remember doing it out in the garden.
See,
I remember painting
you
it.
remember the really great things that people do.
No,
and I consider that as a really great thing you
say,
did, 'cause it was something
and I know
small but also
We've
great.
talked a little bit sort of about our
This
relationship.
is a long conversation between
It is before that, but just I mean, those moments. If you really need to, people ask me at work about it, and they say to me, like, I want to do that, and they've got kids. I say, look, this is the time. Don't. It's all very well working, trying to provide and getting money to do these things, but really, if you can just spend time. If you make sure you're not too tired to spend time with your kids and do things, and when they ask you something, don't automatically say no. Not because you're a nasty person, but because you're tired. You think, I don't know. Just go with it, because you will really sort of benefit from it, and also you'll look back on it and be pleased you did that.
Does that still work?
What now?
If I ask you if you want to do something, will you say no? Or
I had obviously.
if I asked you to start a podcast with me,
I said, not sure, but I've ended up doing it, haven't I, for a few years? No, look, I made a conscious decision a few years back, maybe, and you weren't young then, you were perhaps in your early teens or whatever, to not just say, oh, no, can't do that, to try and say, yes. If we were sitting in a room and you went, anybody fancy playing such and such, like just a ball game or something on the... and even if I was thinking, I think, no, I'm going to... And so I'd say yes and do it.
and we climbed a mountain.
But that leads to things like that, and we've climbed a couple of mountains, and we're going to do another one as well. We're going to do the third one out of the three in this, like, 3 highest peaks, and that. So there you go. Anyway,
if only there was a quiz to
quiz.
take my attention.
Take your mind off this serious talk. Well, I have got a quiz, Connor. I've got a quiz. It's all about Father's Day and about things to do with fathers. I've got a sting as well. Do you want to play me sting?
Yeah, I'll play a sting.
Ooh, Baba, Padre, Ray, Isa. Who's the daddy?
Oh, what a lovely sting.
Oh, did you enjoy that then?
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, right, okay. So, who's your daddy, Connor? Who's your daddy? Well, I am, but here's 10 questions that are going to test your knowledge about fathers, okay? So, you ready for this?
Yes.
Question 1.
No, you hadn't waited until I said yes and when you said question 1.
Question 1.
No, hang on. Yes.
Question 1. Film star, director and writer Emilio Estevez is the son of which famous father? Is it A, Charlie Sheen? Is it B, Mr. Sheen? Or is it C, Martin Sheen?
Oh, Mr. Sheen is... I mean, strictly speaking, Mr. Sheen actually covers all 3 bases.
It does, and I would have to give you a point if you say say that, but that was put in, and then I've only just realised it doesn't really work. So I thought I was being funny by putting Mr. Sheen as in the polish that people use to polish tables and that, but really it would work as the answer.
I'm looking forward to your question. It's about the Muscle family as well.
Yes, the Silip Bang family. Go on.
No, I meant like Mr. Muscle.
Yeah, I know
Is
what
that
you
a
meant.
Silip Bang
Is
product?
I don't know if it's a Silip Bang product, but it's a similar sort of thing. Anyway, we're going off topic.
But
here,
the joke was about Mr. Muscle.
Yeah, I know Mr. Muscle.
But where does Sit It Bang come into it?
I don't know, Conor. I just don't know. So is it?
Martin Sheen is a real person, so is Charlie Sheen. No, Charlie Sheen, is the character from 2.5 Men, but is also the actual actor's name as well, isn't it?
His name was Charlie, innit? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think his name was
Martin
Sheen.
Sheen.
That is absolutely correct. All of their names would be Estevez, but obviously some of them changed it. So Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez are brothers, and Martin Sheen is their dad. Question 2. You are backpacking because you want to put off getting a job and having any financial responsibilities for as long as possible.
Becky and Sam did that.
And find yourself
But
in
they did do it as an actual
Vietnam. I wouldn't have put that down as backpacking, actually. That was a tour of Australia for a while.
They were backpacking.
Anyway. And
Australians were referred to them as backpackers.
Okay. You find yourself in Vietnam. You hear a local refer to their father in their native tongue.
Oh, dear.
But what word do you hear? Is it A, Baba? Is it B, Cha? Or is it C, Otek?
Otek.
Otek. I'm afraid if you're in Czech Republic, that would be correct. But in Vietnam, you would hear the word Cha.
See, that was the only one I wasn't about to say.
Yeah, and Baba is Swahili. Question 3. As of 2022, what is the most popular Father's Day gift of all time? Is it A, tie? Is it B, pants? Or is it C, beer?
Oh, I thought you were going to say socks.
Or is it D, socks?
Yeah, well, it's obviously D, and I reckon C, beer.
I thought it would be. It's actually a tie, a necktie.
I've never bought you a tie.
No, I know, but that's apparently. To be honest,
But I wouldn't buy you beer either.
My dad didn't wear ties really, but at that point, when I was younger, that might have been something more often. But apparently, it's still still case in different countries
people
as well.
used to go to like offices and stuff.
Offices and church and whatnot. Not that I don't do that now.
But whenever I have to wear a tie, it's normally been bought for me by
one of your sisters.
By one of my sisters.
Yep. Question 4. Motown legend, harmonica wizard and father, Stevie Wonder, wrote a song about his newborn daughter. But what was it called? Was it called A, She's Smaller Than I Imagined? Was it B, Isn't She Lovely? Or was it C, What's That Smell?
Isn't She Lovely was written by another woman, but I don't think it was written by his daughter. Isn't she lovely?
That's the song?
She
Yeah.
beautiful?
You going with that?
But I shouldn't sing too much because I might get DMCA.
Doon, doon, doon.
No. What's the DMCA? What was the first one again?
She's Smaller Than I Imagined.
Is that a real song?
Isn't She Lovely? Or What's That Smell? That's what you're trying to...
Is she smaller than I imagined?
Really?
No. I'm going to go for Isn't She Lovely?
Yes, you're correct. He wrote Isn't She Lovely for his daughter.
I thought he wrote it for a woman.
No, he wrote it for his daughter. Question 5. The oldest first-time father is considered to be a man in India whose baby was born in 2010. But how old was he at the time? Was he A, 82 years old? Was he B, 90 years old? Or was he C, 96 years old?
96 years old.
That is correct. You seem very sure about that. Did you know that?
I just felt like it was going to be 90 odd.
96-year-old, and he had a baby.
Why did it take you so long to work that out?
Well, I don't know. I was just a little bit astounded.
96-year-olds and he had a... What was this quiz got again?
Baby. Question 6.
child.
Question 6. What or who was Big Daddy? Was it A, a wrestler? Was it B, a giant sausage? Or was it C, Carlos Fernandez, the world's fattest Mexican?
Now, there's a lot of things referred to as Big Daddy. Yeah.
Yeah?
A massive sausage.
That is incorrect. And I said giant sausage, by the way, so you'd have been wrong anyway if it was that.
Oh, my apologies.
It was a wrestler. It was Big Daddy. I think he was Shirley Crabtree, I think his name was.
What is
his
the
actual
sausage? What's the hot dog then?
name. I don't know.
There's a hot dog that's something like Daddy's, isn't it?
Dunno.
Daddy's hot dog?
And Carlos Fernandez, the world's fattest Mexican, was not true. Question 7. In the TV series Red Dwarf, which of these did Dave Lister not do to teach himself a lesson on Father's Day?
Oh, that's such a good episode.
I watched it last night. I watched it to check what I was going to write down, but I watched it last night.
So what did he not do?
So what did he not do to teach himself a lesson?
Okay.
So obviously the premise is he's his own father.
See, I'm more likely to know this one.
So he was doing videos for himself and
for
sending
Father's
himself
Day, yeah.
cards. Yeah. So did he A?
He'd get drunk and do it, wouldn't he? So he'd forget.
Yeah. So he wouldn't remember. So he'd go, oh, look.
Very
Did
clever.
he A, cut off his dreadlocks? Did he B, resign from the Space Corps? Or C, throw his guitar out of the airlock? Which one of those is not true?
Resigned from the Space Corps.
That is incorrect. First thing he did was he threw his guitar out, and his guitar was in the background, but when he went and looked at it, it was just cardboard. And then he resigned from the Space Corps, which meant he didn't have any oxygen. He didn't cut his dreadlocks off.
No, I'm thinking of the episode very early on where Rimmer cuts off his dreadlocks.
He did that, yeah. Question 8. In Nepal, on a special...
I thought it was another episode in the same series where... Oh, but later on they were about to get sent out the airlock, wasn't he?
He opens a card and the card's got dreadlocks on it. When he's giving himself his own card, like he's written out the previous year. And he has had the dreadlocks cut off a couple of times and stuck back on. In Nepal, on a special day called Gokama Unsi, the people of Kathmandu Valley honour their fathers. Well, what does Gokanu Unsi translate as? Does it translate as A, day for carrying father on our shoulders? Does it translate to B, day for looking at our father's face? Or does it translate to C, day for giving father many compliments?
Day for carrying father on our shoulders would make the most logical sense. However, I don't feel like it translates directly.
Right, okay.
It's day for giving father many compliments.
That is incorrect.
Is it day for carrying our father on our shoulders?
Day for looking at father's face.
Oh, it's funnier.
For some ridiculous reason.
It's funnier.
And for the next question,
Which is question
9,
9.
the penultimate question. While we are in Nepal, during Gokama Unsi, what are children encouraged to do as part of the ceremony? Are they encouraged to dress as their father? Are they encouraged to touch their father's feet and hands with their heads? Or are they encouraged to wear traditional costume and act out their father's life?
Touch face and feet with head.
That is correct. The girls touch the father's hands with their head, but the boys touch his feet with their head.
We will not be taking up this tradition.
No?
No.
Sure, I can take off my slippers now and we can reenact it.
No, thank you.
Okay. Your last question then. Question 10. What takes place in Mexico on Father's Day? I'll tell you what, we've got a Mexico episode we're going to do. They're bonkers. Right? Anyway, but we'll come to that when we start talking about it. What a fascinating place. What takes place in Mexico on Father's Day? Is it A, a race? Is it B, a taco eating competition? Or is it C, nothing? It is a day when people are encouraged to sleep for long periods of time.
A taco eating competition.
No, it's a race. It's a
Oh.
13-mile race that they do on Father's Day.
So not half marathon.
No, just short of half a marathon.
Yeah, 13.1 would be a half marathon.
It would be. And that is the end of my little Who's the Daddy quiz.
Well, thank you very much, Dad.
That's quite all right,
I
son.
appreciate that.
Thank you for being part of my special day.
Sure. And everyone's a special day. That's Dad. So, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking it's time to wrap up the podcast.
Well, it will be, yeah.
But it's not.
Why?
We've had a message.
Shut up.
We've had a message regarding the stag episode.
Oh, dear.
So, the message states, "Hi, Father and Sundays." It's a good start.
Yeah.
It's got names right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam and his best man, James, here. Long-time listeners of the podcast, first time messaging in.
That's not true. For James, it might be.
Has Sam messaged in before?
I don't know. Well. Anyway, go on.
We saw that you released a stag episode, albeit 4 weeks too late. That was in brackets, that bit. And we're both really excited to listen to it. So much... just try that bit again.
Okay.
So much so, we both fell asleep while listening on our flight back from Budapest. And in brackets, Stag 2.0. It's actually not really Stag 2.0 because Stag 2.0 was the following week to the Stag.
It was. It's if anything,
so this
it's
is be Stag 3.0.
3.0.
Or unless that first one was Stag 1. So the first one was 1.0 and the second one was 1.1 and this one's 2.0.
So
that
basically,
makes
this was
sense.
a completely different person's stag.
Different person's Stag. This is their other friend's Stag.
Yep.
Who was on the original Stag.
Yep.
So it's still confusing. Anyway, it's good to see you're living up to your reputation because they fell asleep whilst listening. You forgot
right.
about that bit because we got stuck on the Stag 2.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you want me to read it again?
No,
So much so we both fell asleep whilst listening on the flight back from Budapest. It's good to see you're living up to your reputation. Now it
Well, we
makes
have
more
got a
sense, doesn't it?
reputation of,
Yeah.
of people falling asleep to our podcast,
So we got Nan,
which is not going to get any better after this one.
Sam and James.
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody.
Everyone.
That's everybody now.
I'm really feeling really tired, so I might fall asleep whilst doing the podcast.
Right. Okay.
Connor, we're both confused. We're not sure what you got up to, but we didn't see any chicken dippers.
Right.
Right.
And,
That
rhyming
was
slang.
Cockney
chicken-
rhyming slang.
Cockney rhyming slang. Chicken dippers, strippers.
Yep.
So they didn't see any. So it was only you that saw.
It must have been just me.
Yeah, they must
It
have been.
must have been other
Actually,
people.
it must have been the nights that they stayed in and just talked and read from books to each other.
Yeah.
And combed each other's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably what happened.
Whilst eating pork knuckle.
That still sounds wrong. That.
So anyway, that's either that or they're legitimately talking about chicken dippers because I also didn't. Yeah, well, maybe they're talking about actual chicken.
No, I think they were braiding each other's hair. So-
Maybe they didn't see chicken dippers.
Yeah, maybe not. All right.
No, it's not done.
Oh, right, sorry.
Keep up the good work. Hopefully, we've caught up on the second half of your podcast by the time this message is read out. We wouldn't want to risk missing your answer. All the best, the groom and the the groom and best man.
Lovely.
Are you happy for us to read your message on the podcast? Yes, they put.
All right, okay.
This is good. I've also got a bit at the bottom that said, does this submission look like spam? Report it here. Yes, it does.
It
I'll
does,
report
so
it now.
report them, get them banned.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
Well, thank you very much, Sam and James.
That seemed quite apt from flying back from a stag that they were listening to the
I hope
stag
they didn't
episode.
send that whilst flying because that's dangerous.
Oh, yeah, because they should have had it on flight mode, yeah.
Otherwise, that's why I called the police the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah, because they were away at that point.
Oh.
Anyway, thank you very much, Sam and
Yes,
James.
thanks, Jam, as I will call
Jam.
you from now on.
Yeah, Jam. That's
Jam.
them two together. Jam. Because Sames isn't quite the same.
No, it don't work. Jam, definitely Jam.
Jam.
Jamule.
Jam.
If
Yeah,
you want to be like sort of a little bit more
Yeah.
sort of posh.
Anyway,
Right, okay.
but that's a great message from them. But what if someone else wants to send a message? Well, they could do so on the website, fatherandsundays.com, and you go to the contact page. You can leave a comment, question, suggestion, or complaint, or anything else.
Yep.
You can also email us at contact us at fatherandsundays.com if you don't want to do it through the website. It might be that you want to include a picture. I don't know if you would like to include a picture. I probably don't think you want to include a picture because that might be weird.
Or a sketch or something.
Or a sketch. You might want to include a sketch of what you think we look like based on our voices.
Yep.
Anyway, the website as well, fatherandsundays.com. I'll say it again. Got the episodes available on there, but they are available on all podcast platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, follow, share on those. Yeah.
Okay. So if that's all done then, I'm not going to say what we're doing next week for the podcast because I really don't know, to be honest with you.
This one was thrown in last minute.
Yeah, it might be something, it might not be.
Can you tell it's thrown in last minute?
Yeah, I think you probably can. So I'm going to say bye-bye.
Bye.